Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our monthly prime time. Today our speaker is Sister Safia Hussein, and she's from California. Sister Safia is a former MCNA student, mother of 3, and works as an accountant. She also loves to play games. Today's program is about season of celebrations. With fall already here and winter coming soon, comes with it a bunch of holidays. As Muslims, we hold certain views of great importance, such as gratitude, respect to all the prophets, humility, and being kind to those around us. Our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the exemplary model of high character in how he treated others. We follow him as our role model, and we live in this world to attain the highest level of Jannah, the life of joy forever, inshallah. We will address the different holidays in the light of Quran and Sunnah, how Muslims respect different traditions and maintain their identity. Jazakallah khair for joining on time. Before we start, we have a couple of announcements while we wait for others to join. MCNA offers a variety of programs throughout the year. Primetimes are monthly online webinars organized by MCNA. Previous Primetime session recordings can be found on our YouTube channel. MCNA also offers YMJ courses twice a year, spring and fall. We also have a companion magazine for kids all across the country who love to write. If you're good at writing, feel free to send us your poems, essay, or recipes to us. The magazine also offers all sorts of fun competitions where you can participate and win prizes. MCNA also offers an annual journey through the Quran course during Ramadan. Recordings have been uploaded on MCNA YMj YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is a great resource to watch our program recordings. Last but not least, please like and check out our Facebook and Instagram pages weekly for Arabic Word of the Week and updates. Alright, let's start today's program with Tilawat of Quran, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Now I would like to hand over the mic to Sister Safia.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Manal, for introducing me in the tilawat, mashallah. As Manal mentioned, my name is Safia Hussein. I was a former MCNA and YMj student, and I'm here with you guys today, alhamdulillah. And I wanted to talk about the topic, 'tis the season. Yes, we're going to be talking about different holidays, but I want to specifically talking about how to be a proud Muslim. Now, what do holidays have to do with being proud? Inshallah, we'll get right into that. All right. I will be asking questions. I see all of the little questions that are happening on the side. So like, I see Kahoot, I see Synapse, I see like a few different things. So inshallah khair, I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'll be answering you guys' questions there, or asking you questions and looking over there. And will there be a Kahoot? Yes, there will be. That's just, that's a staple of our program. All right, inshallah khair. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. Again, assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm going to actually begin with all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the universe. I'm going to testify that there is no one worthy of worship except for Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his slave and messenger. So inshallah khair, that's how we want to start off, because it has a huge importance to my program. So welcome to MCNA Primetime. We're going to be covering what Islam says about different holidays and cultures, and how this ties into being proud as a Muslim, especially when it's 'tis the season. So do you guys think that we can celebrate all the holidays that are coming? I got one no. from Asia. Thank you. Oh, look at all these notes. Alhamdulillah. And some of them are saying yes. Okay, we can go into a little bit more. Right? Should we be celebrating those holidays? But before I get into that, let's actually take a step back and see how customs and traditions fit into Islam. All right. So, yeah, so basically what we want to see is how holidays and cultures come into Islam. All right. So, Alhamdulillah, Islam is a way of life. You can't just say Islam is a religion. But Islam is deen, right? It's a way of life. Every little aspect is covered in Islam, from the moment that we are born to the moment that we die, and everything in between, how to carry ourselves in mannerism, our character, our clothing, what work we should have, what knowledge we should obtain. Every single little thing, alhamdulillah, has been written out to us, and the guidelines have been set from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Islam is a way of life for everyone out there, every culture out there, every age, and it's timeless, guys, timeless, right? So, subhanallah, there was actually an example from a book I was reading. It's Dr. Omar Abdullah's book called Living Islam with Purpose, right? And he talks about how Islam was able to, incorporate other religions. So there was this hadith that they put in there, and it was basically about a group of people from Ethiopia. They were reverts actually, and they came to Medina and they began to dance with drums and spears in the Prophet's masjid in celebration of an Islamic festival, probably Eid, right? The companion Umar radiallahu anh attempted to stop them, but then the Prophet ﷺ intervened and urged them to continue, right? In one hadith, he actually said to them, play your game, sons of Ethiopia, so that the Jews and the Christians know that there is flexibility in our religion. And by this and similar acts, so the Prophet ﷺ actually set an example of like showing how just because you have a different culture does not mean that you cannot be Muslim, right? You don't have to be Arab to be Muslim. Islam is meant for all race, all cultures, everywhere. Subhanallah. All right. So what exactly does this mean? This actually set the precedent that, it's given in Surah Al-Number 7, 199, except from people what comes naturally from them. All right, command what is good by custom and turn away the ignorant without responding in kind. Surah Al-Araf, right? So what exactly is it saying? That, you know what, when people come from different backgrounds, different cultures, it is not necessary to be like, forget everything that you knew, forget your language, forget your customs. No, what Islam teaches us is that you're going to take the good from your culture, but anything that breaks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rules, breaks his boundaries, goes against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, or is like doing shirk, we do not accept that. That is what we don't want to continue. And alhamdulillah, how Medina was set up was in this manner. It was very accepting. It was this melting pot of all these different types of people and customs, and the only thing that brings them all together was Islam, subhanallah, right? So that is what Islam says about different cultures and different holidays is going to fit into this. All right. Now I'm going to tell you to take even a bigger step back. All right. So when you have a bigger step back, I want you guys to realize one thing, that alhamdulillah, we are Muslim. Like a Muslim should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessings, right, upon him. It is he who guided us to the right path. So we need to keep on praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to keep us on this path, which is the path of blessed people, and to keep us away from the path that caused Allah's anger towards them or those who went astray. And why does this ayah or these ayahs sound familiar? What surah is this from? And let me repeat myself. We need to keep on praying to Allah to keep us steadfast or on the straight path, the path of those who have earned Allah's favor, not the path of those who have earned Allah's anger or those who have gone astray. What surah am I talking about? All right, I got Janan and Muaz that's saying Surah Al-Fatiha. Good job, guys. Surah Al-Fatiha. Now, Surah Al-Fatiha is a surah that we continuously ask for in our prayers, and we say it, you know, at least more than 20 times a day. Add your sunnahs and nawafil, we end up praying even more than 20, right? So subhanAllah, we're constantly asking Allah to keep us that way, and we have to truly feel those words. We as Muslims are proud of our religion that was revealed to us by Allah, and we're thankful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen us for his religion. And Allah says to us, right, this day I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and have chosen you, Islam, as your religion. So subhanAllah, and this is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 3, right? So what ends up happening is that, like, Islam in itself is a blessing. It's something that we should not take something for granted, right? We need to be able to understand the importance of this blessing and be proud to be Muslim. Understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us everything to go to Jannah, and that is our end goal. All right, so inshallah khair, we have a religion that makes complete sense. And within our religion, we have our own celebrations, right? There is actually a hadith that Anas radiallahu an reported that the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, and while he came to Medina, they had 2 days that they already celebrated, right? They already celebrated, and the Prophet ﷺ asked, "What are these 2 days?" They said, "These are the 2 days that we used to celebrate before we became Muslim." Then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Allah has replaced them with 2 better days." And what were those days? Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. Now, subhanAllah, those are better than any type of celebration. Not only do we have these amazing days, we also have Ramadan, an entire month of mercy in which we feel the essence of what it means to be one ummah, right? Our holidays are not just celebrations, right? Our holidays are not just celebration, but also a means for us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obtain his mercy, to gain ajr, to give hamd, praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to come closer to our brothers and sisters in Islam, and inshallah achieve our purpose of Jannah. So subhanallah, even our celebrations, you guys, have to do with coming closer to Allah. Our celebrations also have to do with us achieving our goal of Jannah, right? Our celebrations is not, oh, let's just forget the world, let's just forget everything that's going on and have fun. Subhanallah, our own holidays, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, and Ramadan, in a way, right, is also meant for us to reflect, to gain, and subhanallah, inshallah, go to Jannah. So that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And that in itself is a mercy and completely different than any other holiday out there, right? You cannot take any holiday that other people they have and say that it has the same weight like what we have. And that's absolutely amazing. All right. And so now that we have our holidays and we understand the purpose of all holidays and we see how culture and that ties into Islam and what does Islam say, I actually wanted to talk to your parents, the parents that are listening, right? Parents, we personally should make Ramadan and our Eid so much fun that our children look forward to Eid when they are faced with these holidays that are coming up, right? Our children should not be fazed by that holiday season is coming, right? They should be proud to be Muslim. They shouldn't feel like they're missing out. We should raise our children to be confident and proud of their identity. We should answer all of their questions, right? And I'm going to be taking your guys' questions as well at the end properly so that they don't have any doubt nor questioning, right? Answer every single thing they may have. It may be like, oh, why can't I dress up? Okay, you want a costume? Okay, maybe we can talk about that, but we don't do it on Halloween, right? So there's these questions that they will ask, and it takes a parent's patience to answer them properly, so therefore they don't even have a doubt in their mind. All right, and alhamdulillah, not just communication, ICNA provides you different platforms as well to help with this, similar to this program today, right? So and the example that I want to give you guys, right? The example, like this quote that I have, we should raise our children to be confident and proud of their identity. We need to be able to answer all their questions. Like, subhanAllah, my son, for the first time, he's 5, he's in kindergarten. He's actually going to public school, right? He's doing virtual school, but it's still public school. The teacher, he's in a classroom and whatnot. And previously to this, he went to an Islamic daycare. He went to an Islamic preschool, and because of COVID, we're here and we're doing virtual public schooling right now. And the teacher constantly is asked, "Oh, Halloween is coming up. Are you guys going to go get your costumes? What are you going to be? How are you guys going to go trick-or-treating?" Like small little questions here and there. And then one day she asked my son Suleiman, and my son Suleiman, like, I've already explained it to him, we don't do Halloween, we put a sign up like, sorry, we don't celebrate, have a safe night, whatever we do. Like, there's a routine that we do in my household on that day. So when the teacher asked my son, like, "Oh, what are you going to do?" My son was straight up like, "I'm a Muslim, I don't celebrate Halloween." And then he said it with such conviction that the teacher was like, "Oh, thank you for sharing. Good to know." Like, you know what I mean? So subhanAllah, like, that's stuff that, like, it was just me telling him, we don't do it. You want candy? We'll go buy candy. You want to wear a costume? We're just not going to go out and trick or treat, right? We do all of these things separately, but not on that day. We do not celebrate Halloween. So alhamdulillah, that stuck with my child's mind, and he was able to confidently convey it to his teacher. That's exactly what we need to instill on our children. And that's what exactly I expect out of all of you guys as well, right? I need you guys to be confident. You are not missing out. And when you are confident in this regards, and you're proud to be Muslim, and you don't feel like you're being left out, you're not being apologetic, people will come to respect you as well. Right? People will come to respect you as well. And you guys, I'm seeing your questions and I love them. Inshallah, I'm going to be answering them towards the end. All right. So now that we understand what Islam says and what is expected of us, how do other holidays tie in? Right? What do we do with all of these holidays that are coming up? And we know, list the holidays that are coming up. What holidays are coming up, guys? I got Thanksgiving, I got Christmas, I got Halloween. I just got those 3. All right, so yeah, we have all of them. Good job, guys. Right? So when we have all of this, I got Easter, Hanukkah, Valentine's Day, New Year's. Yeah, we got all of these. All right, we got all of these that we'll be covering majority of them. All right, so when we have this, when we have all of your birthday, when we have all of these holidays coming up, the first and foremost thing, we need to do our research, right? Just like we eat halal, we eat zabiha halal, right? We go through the ingredients on the back of the box and make sure there's no gelatin in it, or make sure it doesn't have meat in it, right? We do our research before eating our food. Just like this, we have to also do our research before celebrating something blindly. As Muslims, we do not do anything blindly. Right? We have to do it with conviction, and we need to know what we're doing because we understand that we're held accountable. And not only do we do our research, guys, the biggest thing is that you need to have family meetings and we need to have discussion. We have to have shura. Let's, like, mom and dad, this is what I found. Okay, mom, what do you think? Dad, what do you think? What do you think? We can make a collective decision within our family in regards to this this holiday or this food or this whatever, right? Like, this is how we have to do it. Subhanallah, take shura, right? Shura means like consultation, talk to one another. It's not one person saying it and you guys following, right? Like, let's have that. So that's what we need to do. So let's go in. Let's go into different things. I want to specifically go into Halloween because that's coming. And I got a couple of questions of like, okay, what do I do? My friends are celebrating Halloween and they're Muslim, and or can we give out candy to the people out there? And so I got a couple of those questions, and before I answer those questions, let's find out what the history of Halloween is. All right. So let's find out what the history of Halloween is. So Halloween actually dates back over 2,000 years ago. That's a long time ago, right? That's a long time ago. And it has to do with a Celtic festival of Samhain, right? Sowing, it's a very interesting word, but basically Celts were pagans, all right? Oh, whoops. Yeah, you're right. It says 200. It's supposed to be 2000. I made a typo, guys. All right, so 2,000 years ago. And they used to actually, what it was is like, again, pagans. Pagans are what? I'm looking at this. What are pagans, guys? What are pagans? Everyone just stop talking. Pigs. No, idol worshipers. Thank you. Idol worshipers, right? People who worship spirits, right? Exactly. So they're not necessarily Muslim, and they're not even like people of the book, all right? So they're pagans, right? They're absolutely the ones that do shirk, and we avoid them at all costs. So, they actually, so they used to celebrate this, and this day marked the end of summer and harvest, and it marked the beginning of a dark, cold winter, a time of the year that was associated with human death. All right, human death. So Celts believe that on the night before the new year, so basically this was their like, okay, summer's ending, winter's starting type point. They believe that the boundary between the dead and the alive were was like really thin. Like they were like, oh, it blurs. If you guys watched, I don't recommend it, but if you heard of the movie called Coco from Disney, it's similar to that, right? Like what that was. So what ends up happening is that like they believe this is what when the ghosts of the dead are returned to the earth, and they also believed, astaghfirullah, that you know what, because the lines are blurred between the two worlds at this time, it's easier to get fortune telling done and predict things, like all of these things, right? So they used to do shirk. This is basically it. Who knows the future? No one but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right. No one but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, are we supposed to figure that out? No. So already they're dabbling in haram, straight up haram. And this is what they used to do. All right. Not only that, like they were like, okay, those the ghosts of the dead are going to come and they're going to cause trouble. They're going to damage our crops. So therefore, we need to do like bonfires and sacrifice to them, and to like they did basically all the shirk things, right, to protect themselves, when in reality that's not what they're supposed to do. Now, so this is what they did. And then Christianity came, guys. And then they saw, and what Christians used to do is that when they would go into an area that they had pagans that did not believe in one God, they would be like, you know what, instead of telling them not to do something, let's just make that religious, quote unquote, Christian. So they were like, you know what, this is similar to the religious holiday that we have called All Souls Day, right? And this has to be the celebration of death and celebration of the saints and all of these things called All Hallows. So why don't we combine the two, right? Oh, I missed my point, right? So that's what they did. And then that's why All Saints Day was actually like in the language there was called All Hallows, All Hallowmas, right? Which ended up being Halloween. So this is, and then it goes into more, guys. Like you can even go into the tradition of the jack-o'-lanterns. You can go into the tradition of trick-or-treating. They were like, oh, we used to leave it out there for, basically trick-or-treating was like if you left out a treat, right, an offering, the dead would take it and leave you alone. So if you did not leave a treat outside, they would hurt you. So that's where the trick-or-treating part comes in. The jack-o'-lanterns were to scare the evil spirits away. So astaghfirullah, 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 like all of it has to do with shirk. All right. So this is what Halloween is. And I cannot justify this. I don't think anyone can justify this. Every little tradition in this holiday that people celebrate leads back to going against Allah's rules, regulations. It surpasses his boundaries, and it associates partners with him. So how is this okay to do? So now I'm going to take a break from here and I'm going to look at your questions, right? All Souls Day, guys, is the Christian version of Halloween. So they used to celebrate the dead during that time. All right. The religious people that passed away for them. That's what they do. All right. So now I'm going to go into a couple questions. I had I'm going to see. How do I sign up? Okay, let's go into, all right, can we offer candy? All right, so can we offer candy? Like I said, the aspect of trick-or-treating was they leave a treat out for the devils or the shaitan or whatever they used to think that was out there. So when you're offering candy, I know there are two kids that are dressed up in costumes and whatnot, but that in regards goes back to what they believed in. Go give the candy, give the treat, give whatever out to the devils and they will leave you alone. So I personally say do not offer candy. Don't do it. Right? Again, it goes back to a specific area that is related to something that surpasses Allah's boundary that has to do with shirk. So that's why we don't, right? Like, again, it goes back to the root of it. Don't look at it like I'm just giving candy out to a kid. Go back to what that tradition meant in the back. Can we give presents to our Muslim friends who are celebrating Christmas? Oh, that's a loaded question, Asya. We'll go back to that, inshallah. Do I have any more questions about Halloween? I'm looking up. Can I accept a candy? No, dude, you cannot accept a candy. Don't go out for trick-or-treating. All right. What happens when someone rings our bell? Okay, I like this question, Lubna. So what I do, because that is a little tedious and you end up like, oh man, all these people are ringing our doorbell and those kids are going back disappointed. I actually put a nice little sign. I print it up. Or nice handwriting and say, sorry, we don't celebrate Halloween, period. And have a safe night. So immediately when they come to our door, they see, oh, they don't celebrate Halloween and they walk away. Right? And I've never had an issue. I've lived in Chicago when I've done this. I lived in Atlanta when I did this. I lived in California when I did this. I lived in many different places and alhamdulillah, they respected it and they walked away. Right? And so that's what I do, and I suggest that that's a nice way of doing it. So they don't knock the door once they see the sign. I usually go to the masjid during Halloween. That's a really good idea. I think because of COVID, a lot of those programs that ends up happening doesn't happen. Can we go to haunted houses? I think that's an attraction, not necessarily like a Halloween thing. I think this is a family discussion question, so go ahead. And then there's a couple questions about what is the reason why people wear costumes on Halloween? So basically it has to do with the fact that like back then they used to believe like the devils and the evil creatures were out there. So they used to dress up like them and come like that, right? So that's basically it. Can you put on do not disturb? I don't know. Yeah, you can put do not disturb, but I think let's just be nice and say, sorry, we don't celebrate Halloween. Have a safe night type deal. What do you do when your Muslim friends celebrate Halloween? Okay, so when your Muslim friends celebrate Halloween, I think this goes into, there's three ways, guys, to like deal with when someone is committing a sin. One is and there has to do with levels of iman as well, right? I'm paraphrasing a hadith right now, but either you see someone do something wrong and you understand inside your heart that it is wrong, right? And this is the lowest faith level, right? Like lowest iman level. Then you tell them, that's the second one. You tell them that, you know what, you're doing wrong. The third one is you stop the action, right? So I would suggest that if you know your friends are celebrating Halloween, you have to then talk to them about it, right? Talk to them about it and be like, you know what, this is what Halloween was about. This is the background behind it. It is committing a sin, you know, it has to do with shirk. It has to do with all of these sins, right? Like we don't want to be a part of that. I love you for the sake of Allah, right? I don't want you to do something wrong. I did my job as a good friend to make sure that you don't commit the sin. Now you did your part by telling them. If they still choose to do it, I think that's when you just step back, right? Like you just step back. You tell them why it's wrong. You tell them your intention of why I'm telling you, know, like I care for you. I love you for the sake of Allah. And I don't want you committing the sin. And if they still choose to do it, khalas, you know, you have to make dua for them. That's what it comes down to, all right? So that's my answer to that. I think I've asked it. They will throw eggs. What if they keep banging our door for candy? What about costumes? Costumes, I think this is a family discussion as well. I will tell you what I personally do. My girls love to dress up like princesses, and Suleiman likes to dress up as anything that PJ Mask or anything that's like a fighting character. I'm okay with them, but I do not take them out as like Halloween. I have them all year around, right? If you want to wear butterfly wings, go for it. You know what I mean? So like I'm okay with them play pretending, right? Pretending play um, inside my house. So again, if your parents are not okay with it, then you have to talk to your parents. This is something that you guys can have a family discussion on. So do we get bad deeds if we go trick-or-treating for fun, not necessarily celebrating, and wearing a costume? This is a very, complicated question. I don't want to say you get a bad deed, right? Because wallahu alam, Allah is the best of judges and he's the one that knows. However, I think that if the trick-or-treating concept also has to deal with doing wrong, right? Like we know trick-or-treating has to do with that whole leaving a treat for a devil to make sure that they don't hurt you. I don't think it is like I would not feel comfortable with my kids doing it. All right. Again, this is a family discussion that you need to have. I think I've explained it quite thoroughly a little bit. So inshallah, if you guys want to do more research about it and do it. But overall, I believe this is a holiday that we should avoid altogether. Even if you're like, I'm not celebrating it, I'm just doing it for fun. But where's the line? Where's the slippery slope? I'm not doing it just because I'm just hanging out with my friends. Like it ends up being a slippery slope that will lead to bad habits. So I don't agree with this, inshallah, but again, go have a conversation with your parents. Okay, I think, should we say no when the teachers hand out candy at school? I'm going to be very honest, my parents would say no to the candy. I would not come back home with candy when they was, anytime there was a school party or whatever, my parents would just not send me to school because it was celebrating in a way. All right, so inshallah khair, I will then go ahead and move on to the next question. Manha, I see your post. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. So whatever you feel, if you feel unsafe by putting up that sign, then don't worry about it. Inshallah, this was something that I did in my household. All right, so now you guys, that was Halloween, and I went thoroughly into it because we have, Halloween right around the corner, and unfortunately, it's becoming a norm in our society. So again, I wanted to just bring light into what the background is. And there's actually a channel called history.com. So History Channel, they talk about all the background of all these holidays. So it's a really good website to check out and see where do these holidays stem from. So inshallah, do your own research and see how it goes. And then from there, make a collective family decision. All right, so now we have all these holidays, all right? Mother's and Father's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving. And I know we have more. We have July 4th. We have all of these things, right? So I'm going to briefly go over this. I don't want to take too much time. Is Thanksgiving. All right, what do you guys think about Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving. What if there's a cost? Okay, I think we're still covering Halloween. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm getting a mixed answer. I'm getting a very, very mixed answer. Yes, maybe. I don't think it's bad, right? I think Thanksgiving is one that I will say, do your research and let's talk to a family about it, right? It's a family decision that we need to make. Now, Thanksgiving for us, right? I actually found the background for it. So November 1622, after the Pilgrims' first corn harvest. So this is like the Pilgrims that came on the Mayflower to America. And they, try to get established. And as we know, they were Protestants. They finally were able to grow corn. And after the first corn harvest proved successful, the governor of that colony, William Bradford, organized a feast. And they invited a group of people, including the Native Americans who helped them, right? And the tribe was Wampanoag, right? Chief, and then his name is very difficult to respond. I'm sorry, I don't want to mess it up. So now remembered as Americans' first Thanksgiving, right? So basically, we don't know if that was considered Thanksgiving for them, but that was the first event that they did it. Now, they were just grateful. They were just grateful that finally their harvest came out, and therefore they ended up having a feast with their neighbors. So that's the basis of Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving is a very complicated aspect because we also have to look into the fact for about Indigenous Day, right? So we also know the history of what the Americans, quote unquote, did with the Native Americans, right? What they did to the indigenous people that were already here. They went through, persecution. They were killed. They were doing a lot of these things because the white people, the ones that came over from England and all these other places, wanted to take over their land. So it's like a bittersweet moment. I actually had a lot of Native American friends that don't celebrate Thanksgiving because of this, right? So I think this is a discussion that you guys need to have. But the concept of it, they were grateful that the harvest worked out. There is nothing religious about this. They ended up sharing their food with neighbors. A lot of the principles within this is something that aligns with Muslim values as well. So you can take a look at this and you can see how you want to do it. Honestly, like with my family, we end up celebrating Thanksgiving at times with biryani, right? So it's not like we're celebrating Thanksgiving. It's just that more that day is off. Let's get together as a family type deal. So again, research, have a family discussion, and decide how you guys want to do it, inshallah. All right, so the next one that's coming up is Christmas. Now, Christmas, I know all of you guys are going to say no, right? We do not celebrate Christmas. It's a Christian holiday. It's actually not just a Christian holiday, guys. Turns out this was also about the winter solstice, right? And it was the return of the sun, right? So like the sun would come back because it's like the end of December. So it's like, okay, winter is ending, starting over again. And the Scandinavia, the Norse, basically these other people that weren't Christian, they would actually celebrate it in sense of like they would again have a bonfire, and every time the fire crackled or something, that's going to be like, oh, this is how many cattle we're gonna get, or how many pigs we're gonna get, things like that. So again, a lot of like paganistic qualities to it, but when Christianity came, they were like, oh, these people are already celebrating it. Let's go ahead and mix in, our religion in here so that it's easily accepted to celebrate it. So they sort of kind of took over it and be like, oh, this is what we do in Christmas to get people to convert to Christianity and be okay with it. So again, it stems from a pagan holiday. And then we know in the end it is a Christian holiday that they follow. So therefore, we do not celebrate Christmas at all. All right. Some people can't hear me. I'm sorry. I'm taking a break to see this. Who wants to see an old man break into your house? All right. Yes. Okay. All right. So we have that. Okay, then we have Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, these are for my YM junior kids and high school kids, whoever are listening. Valentine's Day, the basis behind it, guys, it was basically to commemorate the anniversary of a Saint Valentine. Basically, there was like this concept of the church says that young men cannot get married for whatever reason. So Saint Valentine actually broke that rule and was getting people married by secret. When they found out, they killed them. And so therefore they created a day after him. But not only that, again, you can always tie it back to something pagan. Turns out there used to be like a Roman festival that was dedicated to agriculture and growing the harvest, right? Harvest at that point. So that's basically it. So again, stems from Christianity, pagan, therefore we do not celebrate it, right? So that's Valentine's Day is something that we should not be celebrate. All right, Easter, you guys know Easter is a Christian holiday. They believe that that's when Jesus Christ is going to be resurrected. This is in the Bible, and that's what they study. So therefore, it is haram. I'm gonna like gloss over this because I am gonna run out of time, and I want to leave it open to questions. Mother's Day and Father's Day. How do you feel about that? Bonfires haram. No, bonfires are not haram unless you're like sacrificing or when are you doing it, right? So if you're just at the beach with your family, that's okay. Holiday Ramadan, holiday for Muslims. I don't know what that was. July 4th, I'm going to get into that. That's my last one. Who are pagans? Pagans are idol worshippers, so people who make partners with Allah. What do eggs have to do with Easter? Good question. No idea. It comes from a bunny too, so it does not make sense to me. All right. Okay, so Mother's Day and Father's Day. So Mother's Day and Father's Day, again, I believe I could not find anything wrong with this. It's just a day to commemorate it. As you saw that there's new ones now. There's Daughter's Day, there's Son's Day, there's Children's Day now. So basically what this goes into is like, having some time with your mom and dad and appreciating them. So what Islam says is that Mother's Day and Father's Day should be every single day. There should not just be one day for them. Just like Thanksgiving, there shouldn't be just one day of giving thanks. There should be every day should be a Thanksgiving day. So be grateful for your blessing. So again, you can have a discussion with your parents and see how it goes. I'm going to be very honest. We don't really do Mother's Day and Father's Day. We actually forget about that. Like it's not something that we do or I grew up with. However, I don't see anything wrong with it. Again, do your research, have a family discussion, and decide what you guys want to do. Lastly, July 4th. July 4th is a national holiday. It's when we became a country. So how do we do? Yes, you appreciate your mom and dad. July, Columbus Day. Columbus Day is a farce, but we can go into that later. All right. Valentine's Day party, you should avoid that. But okay, July 4th. July 4th, basically what it is that it's our national holiday. It's because when we became a country. Now, what it goes into, guys, is that when you have a national holiday, that's okay to celebrate, right? Like it's Independence Day, we do fireworks, we do barbecues. It's just something that the culture that we ended up adopting and we do. There's nothing wrong about it. And you see this, like, my parents love Pakistan Day, or I've been around people that celebrate Indian Independence Day, and I know each of you guys have your own Independence Day from different countries, right? So that's something that you can do. But the biggest thing that I would say when you are celebrating your nationality, where you are from, right? So I'm American, so my nationality is American. My parents are Pakistani, their nationality is Pakistani, so on and so forth, right? So is that you have to remember that you are Muslim first. All right, guys. So I'm not American Muslim. I'm a Muslim American, Muslim Pakistani, Muslim Indian, whatever it is, Muslim first. That none of these cultures and traditions that we are adopting and putting into our lives come before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his commandments. And that's basically it. Islam is a way of life. He's made it very easy for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So as long as we do not put what's it called, anything above Allah's rules, his command, or in the way of Islam, then it's okay. So remember that you are Muslim first. All right. Now that we understand the background of these holidays, you guys can also understand roughly what is permissible and not. Again, I would make your homework, go study with your parents. All right. So the last thing that I want to mention is that I forgot to put a slide about this, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually mentions in Surah Al-Furqan, verse number 72, and those who do not bear witness to falsehood, and if they pass by some evil play or evil talk, they pass it by dignity. You are going to come across like people who celebrate things that you do not celebrate, whether they are Muslims, whether they're not Muslims, right? There is going to be difference of opinion, right? There's going to be difference of opinion in this regards. However, there's two ways that you can carry this. You can go up to a person and be like, you're haram, you're going to hell, you're doing all of these things, and put them down so that they're completely shut off from you. Or you can be like, you know what? I don't celebrate this. I do not think it's right. It does not line up with my values and what my religion teaches me. And walk away from there without a conflict. And that's exactly what this ayah says, right? They pass by it with dignity, right? With respect, without putting someone else down. Because you don't want to shut that door, right? So you don't want it to be like you're so rude and so hurtful that someone will never ever talk to you again. Hold that door open, but be firm in your conviction of not celebrating. All right. Not only that, guys, so that's one thing of telling someone if they're wrong, or saying that they're wrong, or in that sense. But there's also, like, some people may feel like if they're not participating in the holiday, that makes us rude. All right. So I want to say that by not participating, what's it called? By not participating, it's like sorry, I lost my place, does not make us rude, because if they actually know you and you behave with them in a good manner for the rest of the year, they know if you choose to stay out of the party, whatever that party may be or whatever that celebration would be, they would not consider you rude, but rather they know, okay, you know what, this person is a Muslim and they don't do these things. And I can attest to that myself too. My friends or whatever, they would have gatherings, or my friends would go for parties, or you know, like my workplace, they would have like a New Year's Eve party, or they would get together and go places where you're not supposed to go, right? I would be like, you know, I'm sorry, this is not for me. I'll see you again tomorrow at work. And they never talked bad about me. They respected me. They knew I did not do the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tell, like has prohibited, right? I was not a wishy-washy Muslim. I was like, you know, these are my rules. These are my boundaries. I stick with them. You know, have a good day. And that does not make you rude, but rather they respect you. They acknowledge it, and then they do their best to not bring it up in front of you, subhanallah. All right. And that's basically what I want you guys to remember. So again, stand tall, stand proud, stand firm, and inshallah they will respect you as well. And the last tidbit I want to say is that when it is Ramadan and Eid, I would say share those blessings with them as well. So go out of your way, give food, give presents, give goodie bags, share the happiness on Eid. And so inshallah khair, they look forward to it, right? Like a lot of people know what I do is Ramadan baskets. Everyone knows that I do like little Eid cards or whatever it is. Like my neighbors know that it's Ramadan, or my neighbors know it's Eid because they look forward to my treats. So that's something that they can look forward to, and that's a form of dawah in a simple, like happy way. All right, guys, inshallah khair, that's all I have. Allah knows best. If anything came out of this that offended you guys or made you feel bad, or anything I said wrong, please, it's a weakness from myself and shaitan. I apologize for that. And inshallah khair, I'm going to do the Kahoot and I'll open it up for questions in a little bit. St. Patrick's Day, it's St. Patrick, right? There you go, Christian right there. I saw something about like Thanksgiving, family discussion. Can you have turkey? Yes, you can have turkey. And I will go into a little bit more fun, but like let me end the game with Kahoot, and I'll look through your questions and go ahead and answer them towards the end. All right, guys. So let me open the Kahoot up. I think it's already open. 1 second. Okay, and I'm gonna play. Teach. Let's see if this opens, guys. I don't want Halloween. Let's do fantasy. Oh God, that's horrible. Okay, can I not do music? Let's just do original then. All right, guys, loading game pin. Go ahead and add. All right, go ahead. Come on, Salah. All right. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 1 more minute. One more minute. Is it okay to be yourself? All right, you guys. I will be closing it soon. All right. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm going to go ahead and inshallah start now. This day I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and have chosen Islam for your religion. What surah and ayah was that? It was Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 3. Alhamdulillah. All right, let's go. Alicia, period, Rida, Amna, and Amen. All right, next one. Where does Halloween originate from? Japan, Germany, Ireland, UK, or Northern France? I mentioned Celtics. Where would Celtics come from? Sorry, guys, that one's a hard one. By the way, like I always do, someone else made the Kahoot for me. She was one of my YM girls. So yes, you are right. It is actually originated from Ireland, UK, and Northern France. All right. Alicia is still there. Gravity, Amna, Books a Lot, and Soha. All right. Which ancient groups of people does Halloween go back to? Oh, whoops. Romans, Persians, Celtics, Greek. The Celtics. Good, good, good. All right. Next one. Alicia's gone now. Books a Lot, Achahua, Cool Inaya, Smarty Pants, and Pinky Rania. All right, let's go next. True or false? For the Celts, the day of Samhain or Samhain marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of dark, cold winter. True or false? True. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead. Achahua is on top. Cool Inaya, Smarter Pants, Pinky, and then Inaya coming in on the bottom. All right, guys, another true and false. You have to discuss as a family which holidays are okay to celebrate and which are not. True or false? I swear, if any of you guys get this one wrong, I'm going to be really sad. Ten people. Come on, guys. Yes, you need to discuss it with the family, which holidays are okay to celebrate, which are not. All right, guys? And obviously, you have to listen to your parents. All right, next. Okay, everyone stay the same. True or false? Valentine's, St. Patrick's, and Easter's all have Christian roots. True. Yes, they all have Christian roots. Smarty Pants, Inaya, Rida, Iman, Wasim, and Omar. And not only do they have Christian roots, they also have pagan roots. All right, let's go ahead. Should we be rude to those who celebrate the holidays that we do not? Yes or no, we should be respectful regardless of what holidays they celebrate. Correct. It's going to be no. We should be respectful regardless. All right. Rida is on top. Ibrahim, Omar, Aisha, Daji. All right. What are the names of the 2 holidays in Islam? Hajj and Zakat, Zakat and Salah, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr and Safar. Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Good job. All right. All right. Number 9, which month of the Islamic calendar is called the month of mercy? Ramadan. That is the month of mercy. True or false? Islam is a way of life for every single person out there. It's a message beyond all cultures and time. True or false? It was true. All right. True or false? The Prophet ﷺ did not stop the Ethiopians from beating their drums and spears. Is that true or false? I like this comment from Kai J. It is true. Which 2 groups celebrated the first Thanksgiving? Was it the French and Spanish, the French and the Native Americans and the Pilgrims, and Spanish and the Native Americans? Native American and the Pilgrims. All right. True or false? We should be grateful to Allah and appreciate our parents regardless of what day it is. It was true. During our research of all the holidays, it's like when we check the ingredients before we eat. True or false? True. You got to do your research. All right. Last one. We're supposed to be Muslim and proud, upset, angry, thankful. I'll give you guys a hint. This is actually supposed to have 2 right answers, so got a 50-50 shot with this one. Proud and thankful. All right. And let's see, 3rd place was Zoya. Aisha Daji. And the first one was Rida. All girls, alhamdulillah. All right. And the runner-ups, I have DK Diamond and Omar. All right, guys, that was my Kahoot. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna see if there's any more questions. This is the last chance. I actually really like a comment from someone. It says 4th of July is a holiday that is very sensitive to Black people in America because it celebrates the hypocrisy of white Americans gaining the very freedoms that they were denying the Black Americans they were oppressing. So has Muslims in Black America, this is a holiday that most do not celebrate. And that's something that I did not know. So thank you for sharing. So look, each holiday, again, you got to see what it does to other people, how it affects other people, and definitely have a conversation within your family and go from there. I saw that a couple of you guys are saying that the Kahoot was messing up. I apologize for that. Can we celebrate birthdays? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be covering that in this program because I wanted to just cover holidays, but inshallah another time. About Thanksgiving. Is it also haram? The basis of Thanksgiving does not have to do with anything religious. So therefore, it's at your discretion. However, we know the history of Native Americans and pilgrims and what actually happened with that. So I think this is a better discussion to have as a family and make a family discussion. I have seen families, Muslim families that celebrate it and Muslim families that do not. So research on your own and come together as shura within your family and make that decision. St. Patrick's Day is not halal. It's haram. All right. Thank you. Can you put pumpkins on your front for fall? So this is actually very interesting. So jack-o'-lanterns is definitely haram. Pumpkins are just pumpkins, and they've become a fall decor type deal. And now everyone is doing it. So personally, there's nothing wrong with a pumpkin. I love eating pumpkin pie, right? So as long as it's like, okay, when are you doing it? Are you going to have it for the entire fall, or are you just going to have it for the month of October? I think that's a discussion that you need to have with yourself and your family. But overall, pumpkins are not haram. All right. Someone mentioned about her child not like listening about Halloween. I think this is a discussion that, like, personally, if this was me in your place, again, wallahu alam, I'm not the best. I'm a new parent as well, and I haven't been placed in those situations. But as a kid that grew up here, what I appreciated was like mom and dad sitting down with me, explaining what it was, and like there was a statement that my dad always gave me is like, I've already explained to you what's right and wrong. If you choose to do wrong, you're not going to hold me accountable on the day of judgment. And that would always get me. I don't know if that's harsh or not, but that would always get me. And then they would let me know I am wrong, and we've done our part as parents to tell them you're wrong. So what I would also do is like, okay, why do you want to celebrate? What is it? Okay, is it because you want to hang out with your friends? Can your friends come over to our place? Can you, stay at home to do it? Like, offer alternative as well. But inshallah, I mean, that's going into different topics. I hope that like sort of gave you an idea. Unfortunately, this isn't a platform for that. But inshallah, if you email the moderators or the people in charge, we can have a better answer that way. Can we look at lights for Christmas? I mean, decor is nothing wrong. Should you put lights up during that time? Probably not. We give our Ramadan blessings, but do not accept from them. Samia Sharif, I'm not sure about this. So inshallah, I will not comment on it. I will research it. And if you email us, I will go ahead and respond back to you. All right. New Year's, how do you celebrate it? Are you having a party? Are you staying up all night? My biggest thing about New Year's is that it surrounds itself with things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like. I didn't cover New Year's because usually kids do not celebrate New Year's. So there's unfortunately alcohol involved, there's a lot of music involved, there's a lot of people just being up for no reason. And we know at that time it's shayateen that's out. So I personally do not like this concept of New Year's. Again, there's no religious aspect of it, so just go ahead and do your research and do that. But personally, I feel like if you're up all night to watch a ball drop or for it to be midnight, I think you could be doing productive things such as the hajj, the reading Quran, or having a family halaqah, having a family qiyam. I think that would be a better way to celebrate New Year's than watching TV and listening to music in that sense. Again, my personal opinion, please research and go from there. Should we maybe not get the Halloween candies but the toys? I don't know what you mean by that. I apologize. Okay. All right, guys, I don't see anything else. I've answered majority of it that have to do with it. And that's basically it. All right, inshallah khair. I will then end here and passing back to the moderator. Jazakallah khair for listening. Thank you for participating. Assalamu alaikum. Manal, can you talk? All right, guys, I'm not really sure where the moderator went, but inshallah khair, jazakallah khair. That is all for today. Assalamu alaikum, inshallah khair. Until next time.